main clause which is complete in all respect, as a subject, has a verb, right? For example, if I put a question here, she likes X, it has a complete meaning structurally and semantically. It is complete. So itself is a sentence. That's what you call main clause. One. Second is coordinate. Coordinate clause. Now this coordinate clause is also a main clause, is also a complete sentence, but only because it comes after coordinating conjunction, you call it coordinate clause. Suppose I want to have another sentence like this also is a complete sentence. She doesn't like goats. This is also a complete sentence. Now I want to combine these two sentences. I drop this also and I use the coordinating conjunction but, and the sentence becomes a compound sentence. She likes pets, but she doesn't like goats. Now in this case, this is our main clause. And only because it comes after coordinating conjunction. Actually, if I put up, drop this and use this sentence separately, it is a main clause. But only because it comes after coordinating conjunction, you call it coordinate clause. And the type of sentence you call it, you get it compound sentence. You get a compound sentence, right? Now there is something called subordinate clause. The third type is subordinate clause. The name itself suggests that it is subordinate to someone. Now, subordinate clause or dependent clause, we can also call it. Dependent clause depends on this main clause for its existence. For example, a complex sentence like this. They went home when the evening came. If I put a stop here, they went home. It is a complete sentence, but only this, when the evening came, does not have complete sense. It cannot occur alone. It has to depend on this main clause. That's why it is a subordinate. So by using one main clause and one or more subordinate clauses, what you get is complex sentence. What you get is a complex sentence. Now this only main clause we will use simple sentence. So these are the three types of sentences: simple sentence, compound sentence, complex sentence. The process of coordination for compound sentence, the process of subordination for complex sentence. Clear so far?
Yes, sir.
Have I? Okay. Now, this is a very ordinary information that I shared with you. Let us go with something that is more important. We can study clause in three different fashions. We can study clause in three different ways. First way is by clause elements. We can study clause by clause elements. Now, what are the clause elements? What are the
Subject,
clause elements?
subject, verb,
That is
object, complement.
SVOCA.
Yes, sir.
SVOCA. Okay, what is our understanding of subject? General way, it is the doer of the action. General sense, in general sense, subject is the doer of the action. Now it depends on what type of sentence you have, the position of subject. If you have a statement, we begin with subject, right? In case of questions, it comes after auxiliary. So you have a WH word, auxiliary, then subject, then main verb, remaining matter, question mark at the end. In imperative sentences, there is no subject mentioned, right? But in exclamatory sentences, it comes somewhere at the end part. But anyway, it is general understanding of subject as such is doer of the action. V stands for verb. Verb. If this is the doer of the action, what action he or she does, the word which tells us that is verb. What is our understanding of object? Generally, again, object means the receiver of the action or such a component on which action happens. So, object is the receiver of the action. We have two kinds of objects in English: direct object and indirect object. Direct object and indirect object. Now, to have an object in a sentence, what type of verb we require? A transitive verb. A transitive verb. Right. I hope Dan and students will remember, possibly remember the analogy that I generally use for SVOCA as such. Do you remember the analogy? In third year, I taught you that. Okay, let me repeat. May not be in case of girls, may not be in case of girls, but in general sense, we are very free to choose whether to get married or not. We are very free to choose whether to get married or not. Same way, we are very free to choose our subject. We are very free to choose our subject. Same way, when you consider to get married, there are certain restrictions. There are certain limitations. Once you decide to get married, there are certain limitations, like the girl must be of my caste, the girl must be of my religion, the girl must be fair, beautiful, etc. Right? Same way, once you choose your subject, there are certain restrictions in the choice of verb. In the choice of verb. Same way, when you choose to get married, you have limitations on the choice of wife. Right? And once you get married, there is nothing there is nothing left in your hand. Everything is decided by the wife. What sort of lifestyle we require, how many children we should have, where to live, what type of house. Everything is decided. Major decisions are taken by the wife. Same case here. Once you choose your verb, what elements to come next is dependent on the type of verb you have. So, if you want to have an object in a sentence, you need to have transitive, right? So, object generally is the receiver of the action. Two kinds of objects: direct object, indirect object. Direct object generally refers to things. Indirect object refers to person. Right. Indirect object refers to person. Direct object refers to things. If both the objects are there in the sentence, indirect object comes first, direct object next. For example, John get married Now, to find an object in a sentence, there are two techniques I suggested. Ask the question what and whom to the verb. So what did John give? A verb. So what question gives the direct object? Whom did John give a verb? Mary. Say direct object. Right? Mary is a person. Book is a thing. So that's what I said. Direct object refers to things, indirect object refers to persons. And if both the objects are there in a sentence, you have the sequence like indirect object first, direct object next. Now it is possible to postpone this and bring it here. John gave a book to them. But now it is a adverbial because it's a prepositional phrase. All right? Am I clear so far?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Then, complement is such a unit which relates the information either to subject or to object. So it is a relative element. Complement, well, spelling of that is C-O-M-P-L-E. In English, we also have a word like C-O-M-P-L-I-M-E-N-T. This is grammar related. A word which relates itself or a unit which relates itself either to subject or to object. Any idea what is this complement? C-O-M-P-L-I-M-E-N-T. Any idea?
Commenting someone or wishing like something.
A sort of a wish. Say when we gift someone something, there is a card we put on that, and on that it is written with best compliments. Right? That is this one. So as I said, complement is such a unit which relates itself either to subject or to object. So there would be complement to subject and complement to object. Complement to subject is possible when you have linking verb or intensive verb. For example, John became corrupt. John and corrupt are identical, one and the same person. So it is S, V, C. Or if I go with the verb line, John is a doctor. John is a doctor. So is functions become functions of the link between the two units, subject and complement to subject. Complement to object, for that we require a complex transitive verb, wherein we have subject, verb, object, and what comes next relates itself, refers to the object as. For example, they elected only the caption. Who of the action, what action done, on whom the action happened, and the caption refers back to only. Identical reference, so it's a complement to object. Got it? So complement is the one which relates either to subject or to object. That is what complement. Now adverbial or adjunct, better way you call it. Adverbials or adjuncts provide some circumstantial information regarding maybe time, place, duration, direction, position, etc. All right. Now, we had 5 clause elements. Similar way, we had 5 phrases. LP, BP, adjective phrase, adverb phrase, and preposition. Right? NP can function as subject. NP can function as subject. NP can function as an object, direct or indirect. NP can function as complement, subject complement or object complement, and sometimes NP can function as adjunct or adverbial also. Right. So maximum functions in clause are performed by NP. VP can function only as V in a sentence. VP can function only as V in a sentence. Adjective phrase can function only as a complement. Adjective phrase can function only as a complement. These two function as an adverbial. Adverb phrase and prepositional phrase function as adjunct or adverbial. Here,
Yes, sir.
Yes.
other people are there in the class. I hope other people are there in the class. Otherwise, one by one, I will delete you.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Kadam, Bamboli, Kore,
Yes, sir.
Suryavunshi, Musne,
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Kore. Kore. Are you there in the class? No. Chalo, I'll remove you.
Yes, sir. I'm in the class. Good.
I don't like at all mute people. Okay, is this clear?
Yes, sir.
Now, this is the way we can study clause by clause elements. We can study clause by its form. We can study clause by its form. And when you study form of a clause, your focus is on the VP. Your focus is on the VP verb phrase in the clause. So accordingly, you get finite clause, non-finite clause, and verbless clause. Finite and non-finite and verbless. So your focus is on verb phrase. Finite verb or finite clause or the VP in that finite clause is complete in all respect. All the auxiliaries are marked. If you remember, while discussing the verb forms, we had talked on that. Right? First three forms of verb are finite. First three forms of verb are finite, right? Next two, VED2 and VING and 2V are non-finite. Now VED2 without have or VING without V are non-finite. So your finite subordinate clause, the VP is complete in all respect. Non-finite subordinate clause is generally without conjunction and without that subject. Plus the auxiliary part is missing. So it is non-finite. And a clause which does not have any verb element, a clause which does not have any verb element will be a verbless clause. Let us talk about this. A finite clause, for example, the man said that the earth has been rotating, is complete VP, is a complete VP. But in non-finite, look at this. I saw a dog smoking a cigar. I saw a dog smoking a cigar. Now here, S, B, O, and this smoking a cigar is a subordinate clause which does not have subject, which does not have conjunction, which does not have auxiliary. Getting it? Smoking a cigar does not have any conjunction, any subject, and even the auxiliary part is missing, only ing form of verb. That's why it is non-finite. If I want to bring it into finiteness, I saw a dog when I was when I was smoking a cigar. Now it becomes a finite one. So without this, it's a non-finite. Okay, now verbless. When in doubt, you should consult your teacher. When in doubt, you should consult your teacher. Now what is here? You should consult your teacher is the main clause. Is the main clause. And when in doubt, the subordinate clause, which has a conjunction and prepositional phrase as a. There is no subject, there is no verb element at all. Clear? So that is what a verbless clause. So by form, you can classify clause into finite clause, non-finite clause, and verbless clause. Clear?
Yes,
Am I
sir.
clear?
Yes, sir.
Now, there is another way of studying clause. I promise you can
Sir,
study clause by its function. Yes,
is it possible that a complex sentence is always a finite clause?
not necessary. Not
All
necessary.
right.
Simple sentence is finite always. Compound sentence also is finite. But in complex sentence, it may be finite, non-finite, verbless. You will get the details
All
when we
right, sir.
discuss. Now we can study clause by its function. How the clause functions. Accordingly, we can classify it as noun clause, relative clause, and verb. Relative clause is also called adjective. Relative clause, we call it also adjective clause. So the clause which functions like noun can be here, can function as subject, object, complement. So similarly, noun clause shall function like noun or noun phrase. That means to say, noun clause can occur as occur in a position of a subject, object, complement. Right. A relative clause comes only as a post modifier of an NP. Relative clause does not occur in a complex sentence. It just occurs as a post modification of an NP. An adverb clause functions like an adverb. Like this adverbial, it also provides circumstantial information regarding time, place, manner, condition, reason, etc. etc. So these are what the type of adverb clauses. Clear? What I said regarding the relative
Yes,
clause?
sir.
Well,
Yes, sir.
all these are subordinate clauses. Noun clause, relative clause, and adverb clause. All these are subordinate clauses. So definitely they have got something to do with complex sentence. Right.
Yes, sir.
Now let us relate all these three. Little bit confusion and I'll be creating in your mind. Little bit complex it is going to be, but try to get it clear. I'm relating all the three together. Noun clause can function as subject. Noun clause can function as an object. Noun clause can function as a complement. Noun clause can function as subject, object, and complement. There are some more functions. Noun clause that comes in apposition. Noun clause that comes as an object of the preposition, but presently we will have only this. Noun clause can function as a subject, as an object, as a complement. Relative clause can function only as a post modifier in NP. Relative clause can function only as a post modifier in NP, nowhere else. Right. And that's why I said, even though these three are subordinate clauses, relative clause, even though it is a subordinate clause, it does not make a complex sentence. Remember my words, relative clause occurs only as a post modifier and the clause occurs at a phrase level, right? Not at a sentence level. If a subordinate clause occurs at a sentence level, then it becomes a complex sentence. Now, adverb clause will function only as a. Adverb clause can function only as a. Clear so far?
Yes, sir.
Other people, you are not responding at all.
Yes, sir. Yes. Yes, sir. Yes.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Okay, now come again.
Yes, sir.
Now come again. Now clause can be finite. Now clause can be non-finite. Noun clause, noun subordinate clause can be finite, can be non-finite. Relative clause will be always finite. Relative clause will be always finite. And adverb clause may be finite, may be non-finite, and is verbless also. So only adverb clause can be verbless clause, not noun clause or a relative. Clear? Adverb clause may be finite, non-finite, and verb. Noun clause may be finite, non-finite. Relative clause always finite. Relative clause always finite. Clear?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Yes, sir. Yes,
Okay.
sir.
So this has become very complex. This has become very complex. So many arrows. So many arrows I have marked. Try to relate. Try to relate everything. Okay?
Yes, sir. All right, sir.
Okay. For the time being, we will take a stop and we'll continue tomorrow.
All right, sir. Thank you.
Thank you.
हे तर ताग्यात आला का आज? आलो की.
चालू आहे सूर्य.
कुठून उगवलाय किती दिवस तुला?
हा
कॅमेरा चालू. मस्क्या.
बोल बे. हे बघ. कुठून उठून
मस्क्या आहे. हेअरस्टाईल मस्क्याची आहे.
केस वाढले तर लय.
कट करावं का नाही?
हा
कट करावं का नाही?
नाही कशाला करायची?
अरे दुकानच बंद आहेत कुठलं करताय? ये लातूरला. हिंदी डिपार्टमेंटला
काय म्हणला?
रेकॉर्डिंग चालू आहे, मी बंद करतो आधी.
रेकॉर्डिंग बंद कर आधी.